Do you ever feel like there's a bit of a WordPress club and you're not in that club? I want to share something that I've noticed in the WordPress and the YouTube space, and with regards to newsletters that go out by content creators as well. Please don't take this the wrong way. I think there's going to be people that watch this video that don't fully understand or appreciate what I'm trying to say. This isn't a rant, it's just an honest observation about how some WordPress communities operate. I find that in the WordPress community, we have like newsletters, we have podcasts, we have YouTube channels, we have loads of stuff going on. And what I tend to find is that some people only promote some certain other people. And they always seem to have what I consider a bit of a WordPress clique. So what you'll have is podcasts, newsletters, promotions, things going out, shout outs. Hey, so-and-so's done this. If you want to learn about X, go over here. And what I find is that it's very cliquey. Now, I am not doing this video to say I want to be part of that clique and I feel like I miss out, because I have had private conversations with people as well that a lot of you don't know about, so you could accuse me of being cliquey. But what I find is that when there's like a public announcement or a promotion or something about go and watch this person's video, here's a shout out in a newsletter, make sure you follow them, make sure you watch their videos, I always feel like it's targeted to only select people. And the reason I don't like that is because it then means that you are disregarding lots of other content creators, developers, designers out there. It's almost like you're misrepresenting the market, or you're misleading people to say only follow and watch, go to these people. If you want to know about how to set up WordPress, if you want to know about how to do ARIA labels, if you want to know about how to set up a WooCommerce shop, go to these people, only go here, because they're the only names that are ever put out there. With the WordPress community, I feel like there's a little bit of exclusivity kicks in. Some content creators only want to promote other content creators because there's a bit of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Now, I'm not going to name names, but I've observed this many, many times. And I have seen this in many other industries, all right? Not just in WordPress and digital. I've seen it in tech industries, I've seen it in the NHS, in health industries, I've seen it in pharmaceutical industries, doctors, hospitals. I've seen this like mindset whereby it's like, I will let people know about you if you hopefully let people know about me. And when you look at how big the WordPress community is, we then start to focus on a portion of that. And that portion gets all the accolades, all the awards, all the applause, all the praise. And others get ignored. They're in the shadows. They get sidelined. I'm not going to go too deep into why I think that is, but I think a lot of it often is down to, does your face fit? This is not a rant. I'm not trying to get my foot in the door and join a group or a clique or, you know, win an award. No, that's not my intention. But it is something I've been observing for a very long time. When you have promotions of certain viewpoints, or certain page builders, or certain tools, what you get is an echo chamber. So everyone is singing the same hymn sheet. So maybe people only want to promote Gutenberg and they don't want to consider other solutions. Maybe people want to promote a certain code snippet and don't promote or acknowledge that there's probably a plugin. Maybe you only promote a certain plugin and you don't want to acknowledge there's a code snippet or another way to do it. Maybe you just want to promote CSS grid and you don't want to acknowledge that you could do it without using a CSS grid. So what happens is you all almost virtually sign up to a way of thinking, and that's all you put out there. And we see this in life all the time. In society, I mean, I could go really deep here, you know, religion, culture, tradition, the way we dress, the way we behave, the way we talk, gender, the food we eat. We end up with echo chambers. We live it and we don't want to accept or acknowledge or even debate or discuss that there is other things as well out there. You know, we don't just have to follow one way, one line. Tread that line. That's all. You're not allowed to move off the line. You must stay on that line. Eventually, what happens is you will get few voices dominating the area. And I'm not just talking about Elementor, Divi, Bricks, Breakdance. Etch doesn't really come into it because Etch is still quite new. Gutenberg, you know, Spectra, Quickly, GeneratePress, all of these solutions. And we could go as far as plugins as well. WooCommerce, Shortcut, all of these little things. What then happens is a few voices dominate. And it almost creates the illusion of this is the only way to use and work. There's one truth. If you don't speak that truth, you are false. You don't belong here. Where did you come from? We're the experts. We're the kingpins. We're the ones that tell people how to do it. We end up with this one source of truth, and we don't want to acknowledge or take a step back and go, well, what do they think? And what about if we did consider another way of doing things? Do we always have to just follow one way of doing things? So eventually what can happen is that we have this huge market of talent, but only a few people stand out. The ones that are considered the gods, the lords, the experts, the ladies, all right? And then what happens is someone brand new that comes to learn WordPress, they are steered via a newsletter or a promotion to the gods, the lords and ladies. And that then means that the newcomers to WordPress only ever learn one way of doing something. They will only ever learn, you want to build a WooCommerce website, go and watch their tutorial. Now you could say, yeah, but Imran, someone brand new might come to WordPress. They might get directed to your channel and your videos. Yeah, I get that. But I hope they don't just use what I do and what I say and how I do it, because I am not 100% right. I do what works for me and my clients and my business. Doesn't mean it's the only way to do things. Newcomers are always steered towards a stranglehold in WordPress of how we need to do things. I've just realized it says, hey, everyone on screen. I need to get rid of that. And if people just keep going to these sources of truth, it then means that we are sidelining others who are just as valuable. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm valuable. I'm talking about others. There could be other people who are just as good on accessibility, other people that are just as good on Divi and Elementor or WooCommerce. I do what I do. Other content creators do what they do. But there will be other people out there that maybe are still quite small, or they haven't promoted themselves very well, and they have got some amazing content on how to do WooCommerce. The kind of content that if I watched it, I would come away going, I did not even think about doing that. More efficient. I need to change my way. I need to do a video on that as well. There's nothing wrong with imitating. A lot of us kind of do that anyway. We're inspired by other videos. When we focus on just promoting some people, we sideline other good people. You know, it's a very much of a you scratch my back, I scratch yours industry in many places. I want to be really very careful about how I say this, because I don't want anyone to start making any accusations, and I am not making any accusations, but there is not a lot of diversity in some of the promotions that go on. And I am not going to explain that too much, because I don't want people to start saying, oh, you're just saying that because of X, Y, Z, and oh, and all of this. No, I don't want to do that. But I have noticed, especially in the last year or so, there's a huge amount of diversity in WordPress. And I don't just mean in terms of gender and religion and country and where you're from, but when it comes to promotion, you might as well say the diversity stops existing. And I really feel like I've probably rubbed some people up the wrong way by opening that Pandora's box at the moment. So what I would like to see is that creators spotlight and promote other voices in the industry outside of their usual group, their circle, their community. This isn't about blame, but it's about building a better WordPress community. I'd love to know your comments. Have any of you noticed, or does anything that I said resonate with you? Do you feel like you are being overlooked or ignored or excluded? Do you feel like a lot of podcasts, newsletters, promotion, things that happen, you know, big announcements, they always tend to be they either lack diversity, they either don't acknowledge other people, views, or other creators, designers, developers? Do you feel like they always seem to hone in on just a few people and it starts to become repetitive? Do you feel like I'm talking absolute crap and you do not agree with that? I'd love to see your comments. This isn't about starting arguments or a debate. In a way, it is almost like starting a debate, but I do feel like sometimes I can create videos. I can tell you how to build with Elementor, how to do a shop. I can tell you how to go and get clients. I can tell you about how to save your money, how to live a better life. I can tell you about exercising. I can tell you about the keto diet and what to eat. I can tell you whether it's a good idea to have chips today or chips tomorrow. We can go on all about that. Any one of us can talk about this stuff. But sometimes in WordPress, the deeper conversations, the deeper bits that make us sit back and go, do you know what? I have thought about that, but I'm not sure if it's right to talk about it. It is right to talk about it. At the end of the day, we are a huge community, pool of people. And if there's anything bugging us or bugging me, let's talk about it. I'd love to know your comments.